Shall we begin?
Why not? Welcome to Frankie Sense and More. It's like she's got a whole lot of goodness for you with a little bit of sass.
Frankie, did you just say...
She sure did. Not to mention, along with...
Whoops.
Join us now as Frankie Picasso and her new co-host mix it up with authors, musicians, and interviews with world-changing people.
Let's begin now.
Okay, let's begin now, because it only makes sense.
Hello there, and welcome to Frankie Sense and More. This is so wonderful to be here with you today, and I have to say, I have Arlie back with me. You remember Arlie? He's our wonderful co-host and coming to us from Mexico. So exciting to have him with me. I'm very happy about that. I was just at the dentist. I'm frozen. If I sound strange, my whole upper lip is numb, so it's kind of funny. Yeah, it's funny. Anyway, I have a Frankie Sense moment that I want to share with you. Today, you know, given the timing of the year and everything, I'm going to say today is about family. And you know how I like to align my show with the Global Goals Initiative. Well, today, I want to talk about family. What is family? Because, you know, some people think it's a mom and a dad and a couple of kids. It could be a sister and a brother like Natorya Nichol, who's going to show up here in a little bit with her brother Jay. Could be a band like a literacy. Will, who's with us, you know, two brothers and two friends are, you know, they've been together since the age of 6, making music together. And maybe it's like a husband and wife team, Than and Megan, who will be with us in a little bit, who help children find parents, or Arlie and Gary, who, you know, are together and have taken in their nephew to raise. Some people say that friends are the family that we choose for ourselves, and I think that's more than true. But no matter what your family looks like, if there are people in your family who love and care about you, you have family. And, you know, Thanksgiving and Christmas are kind of two holidays that make us all wish that maybe we had that kind of Norman Rockwell version of family. Mom, pop, sis, brother, and a dog, the perfect family. Yeah, you know, sometimes what we see on the outside isn't always what's going on in the inside. And that white picket fence could be hiding spousal abuse. It could be hiding child neglect. So when we're on the outside looking in, it's really easy to get caught up in the packaging. You know, my own family grew exponentially this year. I have 2 new daughter-in-laws and a son-in-law. We had twin grandsons born just this past August, making that 3 grandchildren. And, you know, while all of that is really amazing, it makes me think more about the global family, brothers and sisters around the world, those that we call humanity, because they too are our family. And I'm sure that, you know, these Syrian refugees are on all our minds. And Arlie, you know, don't they say that we all come from 2 strands of DNA? Have you heard that in some way we're all related?
Oh, now we're going to go scientific. That's completely the wrong direction for me.
Well, you know, I'm going to relate this to global goal number 1, to end extreme poverty. And what does family have to do with that? Well, you know, there are people who are living on less than $1.25 a day, and that's what the United Nations calls extreme poverty. And I wouldn't let my dog live in the conditions that some people live in. How can I let my family, you know, my big global family out there, live that way? It's I'm not religious, but I think it was Cain who asked, you know, am I my brother's keeper? And I'd have to say, yeah, I am. If we treated human beings like family, then no one would live in abject poverty. No one would die of malnutrition. No child would be left alone to raise itself, and everyone would benefit. So
absolutely. And, you know, on that note, you know, poverty is such an interesting, you know, worldwide phenomena, considering that we produce more food in the world every day than the total of humanity could possibly eat. So why are we having this issue with poverty? I've never understood that.
Well, I know I did a show not that long ago, you know, with a food guy, I'm going to call him a food guy, who you know, said they throw away so much food and vegetables in the grocery store because it doesn't look pretty. Like, you know, tons of food that
Absolutely.
Lots and lots of people could be eating. So it's crazy. Nelson Mend, there's a lot of noise on the line. I don't know if we need to do something, but sorry. My producer's talking. No, Gail's not on this show. She's not on this show. Don't call her. Nelson Mandela said it best. He said, in this new century, millions of people in the world's poorest countries remain imprisoned, enslaved, and in chains. They're trapped in the prison of poverty. It's time to set them free. Like slavery and apartheid, poverty is not natural. It's man-made, and it can be overcome and eradicated by the actions of human beings. And overcoming poverty is not a gesture of charity. It's an act of justice. It's the protection of a fundamental human right, the right to dignity and a decent life. And while poverty persists, there's no true freedom. Nelson Mandela. Love it.
Absolutely. And, that also works in tandem with a lot of the organizations that are, fighting for their lives. And their goals are, like Megan and Than, their goals are to, help and to distribute and to, offer opportunities. But yet these organizations are struggling themselves. And it's amazing to me the amount of, as you mentioned, the amount of food that is wasted that could be redistributed in many, many ways.
I'm sorry. No, it's a really bad connection. Maybe, I'm sorry, it's a really bad connection with that phone.
No, I'm on my Skype.
Not you.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
Not you, Arlie. Okay. Yeah, this food scarcity and it's a really big issue today. But we're going to talk about family and not food scarcity right now because that's another show, Arlie.
Yes.
Let's bring Natorya on. Natorya Nichol. Let's see what she has to say. She is the president and CEO of Double NW Entertainment, and this is her company, and it will consist of books and merchandise and eventually movies because she's a screenwriter. And she has written a book loosely based on her brother Jay, who she is a guardian of, and she calls it EJ Insists. And EJ Insists is a book of color for, she's putting color back into books for those folks who are tired of, not tired of, but don't see themselves represented in print, let's say. Natorya Nichol, hi, welcome.
Hi, how are you guys doing?
We're doing really well. How is it going today? Are you in Florida today?
Yes, I am, and it's really nice today.
Oh, lucky you.
Yeah,
yesterday
it was Jay's birthday. He turned 9 yesterday, and we tried to have a little get-together at the park, but the wind was terrible, and the wind made it cooler, and it was just not fun.
Well, we mentioned family, and you are raising your little brother. Now, you have 5 siblings. Is that correct?
Yes, that is correct.
Okay. And how did you come to be the one to raise your brother?
Well, I will just say this. Our mom is not a bad person, but she has never been a real mother. Those people that, they kind of just want to do their own thing. Mm-hmm. Well, I noticed some things, and I used to live in Palm Beach County, and I noticed some things when I would come home, and, he wasn't progressing, the way that I felt he should. And, I just kind of made a decision to make sure that he had a really good life. And that's it, really. I mean, he's my brother, and I'm not going to leave him, so I made the decision.
That's awesome. That's, really stepping up to the plate, Natorya. How did you come to write, think about writing this book? Like the book that I read, the first book that you wrote is, it's about discipline. It's about communication. Mm-hmm. The most important thing really is that we speak to our children. And,
yes,
that was one thing that I made really clear with my kids. Like my kids tell me everything. And it was always, you can tell me anything. I don't care if you did something wrong, as long as you tell me, then you're not going to get in trouble. But if you don't tell me and I find out, you're going to get in big trouble.
Well, the way I talk to Jay is, if you do something wrong and you tell me, you may probably still get in trouble. It depends on what you did. But don't, not tell me. Because if I find out by myself, you're going to be disciplined more. And that's the thing that I always tell him, don't be afraid. If you did something wrong, don't be afraid to say, yes, I did it. We're going to learn from it, and we're going to move on. I don't dwell on things. I'm not a person that's going to bring back something that he did, 3 days ago.
Right.
That's not the kind of person I am.
Yeah, I don't like that kind of person myself. I don't hold a grudge. You know,
Right.
you have your discipline, it's over, done, slate's wiped clean, and away you go. So what made
Exactly.
you decide to write about somebody being disciplined? So let's tell the story of the book is that EJ is at school and he, you know, decides to push a child down the slide because the kid was just sitting there and wasn't going. And
Right.
unfortunately, you know, he was found out and got into trouble. And when he got into trouble, he decided to have a temper tantrum instead of just saying, yes, I know I did something wrong.
Right.
So what made you write that book? Is that an incident that really happened?
Well, the timeout part is very real, but the rest is really a story. To be honest with you, Jay has never thrown a temper tantrum with me. My mom tells me that he did, you know, with her when he was younger, but I've never experienced that. But really, the book just came from, you know, me knowing that I was going to have to discipline him eventually, and I wanted to do it in a healthy way. You know, and that's kind of how it started. And I didn't really know I was writing books. I really thought that I was just, you know, just writing just a story, you know. But when I wrote that first story, more came. And so the book, EJ Insists, is really a series, and Timeout Learning Tool is just the first title.
Now, did you go to school? Did you go to college or anything to learn to write books about?
No, not
did.
to write. No, I've always had a talent for writing, but I did study psychology and child psychology, but it has nothing to do with, you know, the books. It's just, you know, it's just a talent.
Natorya, did you do the illustrations as well?
I sure didn't. I wish I could take credit for that, but I
Yeah,
sure
they're
did
phenomenal.
not. My publisher, Tape Publishing, they found a couple awesome illustrators, and I'm so sorry, but their names escape me right now. But they found some really awesome illustrators who actually listened to me, and actually the characters, the whole book was really redone a couple times because I wasn't happy with the way things were, you know, as far as the color and, you know, things of that nature, especially the main two characters.
Okay, Natorya, I'm gonna have to cut you off here just for a minute because we have to go to break in a few seconds. But when we
Okay.
come back, stay tuned, stay close, because we're going to find out more about all of our guests in just a moment.
Heck no, we're just getting warmed up. Frankie Sense and More will be right back after we pay the bills.
LinkedIn. It's a great tool and a great way to do business in today's social media driven world. And Carol McManus is the LinkedIn Lady with the LinkedIn Lady Show. Tuesday and Wednesday afternoons at 4 p.m. Eastern on allbusinessradionetwork.com. The LinkedIn Lady Show is designed to inform, inspire, and educate businesses. Every social media site has a specific demographic, personality, and purpose. And the LinkedIn Lady will interview a variety of guests, such as business owners who can showcase their business and talk about how they use social media, such as Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, Google+, Pinterest, and of course, LinkedIn. For more on Carol and the show, check out her website, LinkedInLady.com. As trends change and new applications become available, the LinkedIn Lady Show will bring that information to you in an easy-to-use, fun, and engaging way. Every Tuesday and Wednesday afternoons at 4 p.m. Eastern, it's the LinkedIn Lady Show with Carol McManus on allbusinessradionetwork.com.
It's the Fitness Minute with fitness expert Annette Hammond.
Thinking before drinking is good advice. Most of our favorite drinks are loaded with calories. Whether it's our much-loved soda, coffee drink, or energy drink, we are drinking a large portion of our calories every day. Liquid calories now account for a whopping 21% of our daily calorie intake. That is equal to 400 calories a day and is 2 times more than we drank 30 years ago. Pure water has 0 calories, and the importance is an undeniable fact. The trend has been to drink bottled water, but research has proven that bottled water isn't any better than the water that comes from your tap. Women's Health magazine says that 40% of all bottled water is taken from municipal water sources. Don't be afraid to save money or time and get your water from your tap. Be sure to think before you drink. For the Fitness Minute, I'm Annette Hammond.
And we're back. Welcome back to Frankie Sense and More. I'm your host, Frankie Picasso. Arlie is with me in the house, and we've been talking to Natorya Nichol, who has written a book, I'm sorry. Natorya, it's called?
EJ and Sis, Time Out Learning Tools.
There you go. And we were just talking about the phenomenal graphics that are illustrations that are in your book, and they are really, really well done. Amazingly well done.
Yes,
it was a good book.
Job.
They did.
Yes,
What age range did you write this for?
This one, because of the subject title, I think it's good for 8 and under. Because I don't really feel you can keep throwing, kind of putting kids in timeout as they get older. By the time they turn 9, like Jay doesn't go to timeout anymore. He doesn't go. If he does something that warrants him, to be disciplined, either, he will go in his room for, it can be called a longer timeout, or really, I don't even do timeout with him anymore. I would take something away from him. Like he has a curio, and that's the number one thing I would take away from him is his curio. But that doesn't happen very often. I got to be honest with you.
So what are some of the other series titles and the subjects? It looks like what you're doing is creating a wonderfully illustrated guide to help non-parents understand how to discipline as well.
Well, I wouldn't. Okay, I can see why you say that, but I want to, make it really clear that I am not trying to tell parents how to raise their kids. I definitely am not. A lot of people don't think timeout works. I think it works. And a lot of people do think it works. So I want to make sure that people understand that this is not, someone that hasn't even had children, telling me how to raise, my child. That is not it. The reason that I wanted actually this one to be first was because of the message, because I think it's so important to have good communication with kids. And when you have good communication with kids, you will notice that their behavior is better.
Oh, yes. That's a wonderful observation.
Yes. And so the second book is going to be called Sports Day, and it's completely different. Every book, every title, every subject is completely different. And this one is just about sports, actually. And I actually had sent a manuscript copy to Katrina Adams. She's over the USTA Association. She's the president. And it took her a long time to get back to me, but she actually did get back to me last month, and she loves it. So I'm really looking forward to that one coming out next year.
That's awesome. That's great. Thank you for that. And you did mention that it really was a book represented. You wanted to put color into the books. So you wanted to write books for children of color because you haven't seen any out there, really. Is that? But you didn't want people who weren't colored not to buy your book. So.
Exactly. That's what I want to make sure. I read today all the time, several times a week. He reads on his own. And one of the things that I did notice is that many of the books that have black people in them are very hard subjects. They talk about race, they talk about civil rights and all that stuff, and all that is great. But I like to read just regular kids' book stories, and that's what I wrote. Regular kids' book stories. Every single child will be able to relate to every single book of this series because they are just regular kid stories. It's not anything hard. It's not anything difficult. It doesn't talk about race or anything. It's diversity.
Kids.
It's
They're
diversity.
Just kids.
Yeah, I keep my brother around diversity. He plays tennis. He plays baseball. And the reason I wanted him to go into tennis, and I'm glad that he loves it, is because there's so many different kids different ethnicities that play tennis. I never want him to just be around black people. I want him to be comfortable being around everybody, and that is what I'm doing.
Well, that's perfect. It's a great way to raise your kids, for sure. For sure. I want to, it's interesting. Everybody's experience is so different, and here you thought, well, I'm going to write books for children, of color because you wanted them to be represented in a book, and. I want to talk to Than and Megan from Hope Project right now because they also deal with lots of children, but I'm sure that those children wouldn't be able to see themselves in a book of that nature because I don't even think they have a playground where they live. And Than and Megan, you are both pastors, I believe, and you have been, you built Hope Project International, and you've been, going on trips to Nicaragua, and I think you're working in Nicaragua mostly now with children, and you're working with other charities as a bridge, if I understand, to help them get more of the things that they need. Is that correct?
That's correct. We actually worked in the local church here in the U.S. for about 10 years as kids pastors, and the whole time working with different kids from different backgrounds, different social, economic situations. We always wanted to do more. We wanted to find more ways to help more kids in more areas, and that's what kind of led us to do the international thing, where we kind of took local church in America, started our own organization, and began looking for people that we could help around the world.
Oh, you do have you do have an after school program though, don't you?
Well, we're always searching for partners. We wanted to partner with people locally in Central Florida, and then nationally, and then around the world. And we kind of started a partnership with a program that had an after school situation going on. It didn't really stick. It's not something we're currently doing, but we have helped them in the past.
Well, you're both in Florida. Natorya's in Florida, and you guys are in Florida. Maybe, if you need some books, she can help you out.
Yes, where are you at?
Yeah, we live in Lakeland, Florida. It's in Central Florida between Tampa and Orlando.
Oh, yeah, I know Lakeland. Okay, yes. Keep talking about your organization. I would definitely look it up.
Well, give us your web address, Dan.
HopeProjectINTL.com.
Okay, excellent. Thank you for that. Hope Project. And I love, because pretty much that's what at the Good Radio, when I started the Good Radio, that's what we were doing as well. We're helping projects who were already on the ground, but helping them help themselves, I guess, and helping to bridge that gap for them and help people find them and help people, support them in all kinds of different ways. So what are you doing with the children? Are you looking for, parents for them? Are you looking for homes for them, to build homes? Like what is it that you would like people like ourselves, the listeners, to help with Hope International or Hope Project?
Well, we currently, there's two ways people can help. They can give financially to help us help the kids, and then they can go and actually serve the children and families themselves. And one of the ways that we serve the families in Nicaragua currently is we build home structures for these families in need. And the structures it's a very humble structure, but it gets them off of the dirt it puts a roof over their heads and provides them with a home. And so those are the two ways that we are looking for help from people.
Megan, how much would it cost to build a home? I guess it's like sheet, using metal sheet, and from what I saw in your video, is that?
Half of the home is made out of a large stone that's quarried. It's almost like you use it like a cinder block, but it's larger and heavier, and it's a solid stone. And then half of it is like a sheet metal, and it's $1,000 per home to build a home. But that includes we hired local labor to help our teams, and we a home with the appropriate bedding. And so that's all inclusive of all the materials, the local labor, and the furniture. And so,
wow, the furniture too.
Absolutely.
That's incredible. And I noticed in your video that you talked about you were feeding children.
Right.
And what would a family need to do in order to get you to help build them a home? Like, what would they have to do?
Well, we partner with a local Nicaraguan pastor, and he actually lives in the community where we build the homes. And he's always got his eye out for families that are in need. And so when he knows that we're coming, he starts looking for a family that needs a home, and then he tells us which family gets a home. And it's really children that are involved in the feeding program at his church, or parents that are involved in his church, that how he gets to know the families that need a home. And but he's just out in the community looking for families which family is the next family that needs the home the most.
Right, and they have over 150 kids from that local community that participate in the program at the church. And so
wow,
that's how they're
that's a lot of kids.
Yeah, that's amazing.
I love your story, though. I love your story, how you guys, you're married, and then you were just playing the what if game. What if we had like $1 million, and, where would we live, and what kind of house would we buy and build, and, all that kind of fun stuff. I'd probably buy an Audi R8, and then you look at it and you go, wait a second, we could take all that money and help all these people. That's awesome. I love you guys for that.
Oh, thank you.
Do you guys have kids yet?
We do. We have a 3-year-old boy. He doesn't go with us to Nicaragua at this time because he's a 3-year-old boy. He's a little bit young. And in Nicaragua, we're working hard all day, every day. So it's a little bit of distraction to have him with us when we're there.
How long do you stay for?
What's that?
How long do you stay for when you go?
We usually stay for about a week at a time when we go.
And our son, he really wants to go.
For sure.
He knows one way is he knows we go to an active volcano, and he believes there are dinosaurs.
The old dinosaur and the volcano trick.
Yeah. Arlie, you wanted to ask him about the Baja kids.
Yeah, I work very closely and directly with an organization called the La Misión Children's Fund, and it's in Baja California. And we run into a lot of unique issues with institutional problems, government problems. And I was wondering if you have any issues like that in Guatemala where the government is asking you to get permits for certain things, or you have regulatory processes you have to go through. It's really quite interesting what we go through in Baja.
Right. Well, the Nicaraguan government is really open, I think, to the type of work we do. Groups coming in to help, to do humanitarian efforts, to kind of help the people that are there. And, it helps the government when people come in and help their people. So they're open to what we do. And we really haven't run into any of that. Now, our partners on the ground there may have a different story as far as what they deal with the government. But as far as us coming in a week at a time throughout the year, we haven't had any issues.
Right. Well, it's really about family. It's not about government. And sometimes I think they forget that.
Yeah.
I just wanted to know, is there an issue with the government adopting children out of the country? I know in Uganda, the government cracked down that outsiders aren't allowed to adopt children anymore. Oh, I got 30 seconds left. We have to go to break shortly. But keep that one in mind, because when I come back, I'd like to know about that. And we're going to hear more from Than and Megan. We're going to hear more from Natorya Nichol, and we're going to be hearing from Illiteracy, a rap band, and we want to hear their single Kingdom. I can't wait to hear it.
No, we're just getting warmed up. Frankie Sense and More will be right back after we pay the bills.
Are you ready to start rocking that woohoo that only you do? Because Lisa Stedman is on a mission. She will dare you, challenge you, enlighten you, provoke, and empower you to bring out that inner woohoo. Lisa is an internationally acclaimed best-selling author. She is a breakup expert, a brand consultant, CEO of Woohoo Inc. and the Woohoo Radio Network. She will show you how to take your boohoo and turn it into woohoo. Get rebellious and get real. Get your dreams off the back burner. Get inspired and motivated to take action. Start rocking that woohoo that only you do in love, life, and business. She is going to be here for you every Wednesday at 1 p.m. Central Standard Time. Only here on the Woohoo Radio Network.
Recently, I was returning from a summer vacation using my GPS to guide me through the New Mexico mountains and got lost. Since I was alone, I decided to see if my iPhone pal Siri, the lovable anthropomorphic virtual assistant, could help with my situation. Siri has earned a bit of a reputation as a sarcastic, sassy, and brickety companion, often engaging in humorous bafflegab. Siri is entertaining, but I found it a bit unnerving as she kept asking me questions by calling my name, like, Carolyn, I cannot find any gas stations within 80 miles of your location. Or, Carolyn, there are no hamburger restaurants near here. What's a word for feeling your thoughts are being stolen? Nucleptia.
It's words you never heard.
I'm Carolyn Davidson, and Words You Never Heard has been brought to you by the Bariatric Surgery Center of Dallas.
And we're back. back. I'm back. Are you still with us? I hope so. We were hoping you're still with us. Well, we were just speaking to Than and Megan before we went to our little break there, our commercial break, and I had asked them what the government was, how they were about adopting children out of the country. What is the state of that?
Well, in the past, they've been very open to adoption. We actually worked with an orphanage there that over the last 14 years has helped kids kind of come back from nutritional struggles and then seen over 200 kids adopted out of their orphanage. But really, the orphan changed a lot in Nicaragua over the last month, really. And so it's kind of changing, and I think you have to look in the next 6 months and see what happens in the area of adoption in Nicaragua.
So what are the most common issues as to why the children are in the orphanages there?
A lot, abandonment, malnutrition. A lot of kids are just found in the streets. A lot of times families will realize, I can't take care of my child, and they'll actually kind of give them to the government. And we worked with New Life Nicaragua, which is a renutrition center and an orphanage at the time, and the government would actually funnel kids to them, knowing that they could bring them back to health, address their needs, and help them become adopted.
Wow. That's incredible. I mean, we were talking about abject poverty at the beginning of the show, and it doesn't get more abject than that when parents give up their children because they can't afford them anymore. It's really sad. Really, really sad.
Well, I think some of those parents actually are leaving the country to go work in other countries, and they feel they can't take the children with them. And that was a unique issue that we ran into here in one of our orphanages, is that parents were bringing their kids there for the day and then never came back.
Ooh, wow, that's crazy. I can't imagine leaving a child. It must be the most difficult thing for them, but I guess in their minds, it's the grace of they're going to be looked after. Somebody's going to look after them way better than I can.
Right.
And so it's really the ultimate sacrifice, isn't it?
Yes.
Let's hang in there. I want to talk to Will Spitwell, AKA he has a real name, but he's with the band Illiteracy. How do you guys like to pronounce it?
It's just illiteracy. You really have to see it on paper to appreciate it and try.
Yeah. But you guys have been together since 1998. 4 of you. 2 are brothers, 2 are friends. You came together, you met at T-Ball. And it's an oxymoron, this illiteracy, because you were honor roll students. So I'm sure you all read and speak. And you rap really well. Your words are quite visual. So how did all this come about?
Well, we've always just had or anybody pen or pad and decide.
Uh-oh, he's breaking up on me.
Music and
we totally broke up on us. Let's try that again. Are you still with us, Will? You know what? Maybe we can play his music and get him back. Let's play Kingdom. This is their hit, Kingdom.
Yo, we were given life, beginning of a run-on sentence. Well scouted like Samoas and Thin Mints, while they chase commas, grammar police, cause cuffing those means the end of struggle, start of lavish existence, partly. Welcome to life in the crosshairs, hopefully only a camera, not a blammer with the hammer cocked, locked on your silhouette, one eye from high, above the spot you occupy, make it so you're not there. Eliminate the threat, so definitive. No pill popping, ill is limitless. So surreal, stopping something moving this long. Kinetic imminence. We what the future looks like, they know resemblance. Slamming the brakes on a bullet train, probably the closest thing to grinding like us that you'll experience. So I toast to the brothers fate chose for me. Kick it like the Dickens when I'm gone, place hold for me. Multiple mic rooms, camera with a nice zoom. Work and find time to live like the end of life soon. Tell them you love them, they still here. Cause when they gone, death out of left field, real tears. So much more than dope beats and silver tongue.
You know, that's you, Will, in the opening of that Kingdom. And I mean, I've got the words in front of me, and I'm struggling with it just a little bit, but I'm thinking that, you know, God is an influence in your life, and that you have escaped. I'm thinking that the violence, the guns, and all the other stuff, and you're saying kind of no to that. There's another way out. So do I have that?
Yeah, absolutely. That's 100% correct.
So do you find, you know, a lot of people believe that rap music is about anger, but clearly yours is not. Do you find that to be a hurdle in your promotion of your work?
I think we don't consider ourselves rappers, no, and we don't consider Illiteracy a rap group. We are what I like to call a pop culture entity. I mean, we're influenced by the world around us and receptive to what's going on around us. And at the same time, the negative that's out there, we choose not to reflect on that. Like, we all see it. You know, we're all involved with it. We all are affected by it. But that's not what we choose to personify and kind of put that image out there, because there's already enough of it out there.
Right.
Yes, yes. But my point was, I was just wondering if you find it difficult to market your music when people have that type of an opinion about the genre. And I apologize for calling it rap music.
Harley, that was rap. Come on.
I don't feel like there's a hurdle. I honestly don't, because if you take the time to actually give it a listen, then you'll see for yourself that it's not the typical rap music that people are used to.
Right.
It's true. And you know, that's why I asked for the words. And it was funny when I asked Chris for the words, and he goes, "Why?" And I go, "Because words are important when you listen to music. You know, if you're a songwriter, you took time to write those words. And,
absolutely.
And I think it's important to hear them,
absolutely.
The message. You know, in your on your site, it said that your moms were big influences. God was an influence, as were your scornful fathers. What does that mean?
I mean, the dads are usually the disciplinarians in a household.
Okay.
And something also contrary to a lot of rap lyrics, all of our fathers are still alive. All of our fathers are still in our households. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah. Families are complete.
We were affected by that in a positive way. Like, you know, Dad's going to lay the law down when the time comes or when need be, but that's not a negative thing.
And did you have a timeout, or did you get the belt?
I think I got my last whipping from my mom, actually, when I was probably 10 or between 10 and 12 years old.
Well, it was still legal?
Absolutely.
Will, I read here that you, when you were young, you guys got together and you were gathering around a computer with a plastic computer microphone. So did you, and it said that you didn't really have a mission in mind at that point, but was your goal to create this group?
No, not at all. We were just enjoying each other's company, you know, brothers doing what brothers do, just hanging out, trying to be creative, trying to have fun and stay out of trouble for the most part. Illiteracy really took on a whole other thing of its own at the prodding of some of our peers that heard what we were doing or wanted to be involved in it and encouraged us to keep going or to actually go further with it.
Is this your full-time job right now?
No, it's not. No, this is actually something we're scrambling to do with every spare minute we have, all of us.
But you're not like brain surgeons or anything, are you? You probably are.
No, I'm actually active duty military.
Are you?
Oh,
well,
wow.
Thank you so much for your service.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
I was wondering, did you heard Natorya Nichol at the beginning of the show and the books that she's writing. Did you feel that, because you're younger, I can tell you're a bit younger, did you feel that when you were growing up that books lacked color? That would you have liked to have seen a book, you know, a child's book, storybook that had black children in it?
Sure. I mean, that that would have been something immediately recognizable and relatable. But I don't feel like during the era that I grew up in that, you know, things were as tense as they are now, or maybe I was just oblivious to it back then. But I mean, I think it's really positive that, you know, there are more diverse outputs that people are putting in circulation these days. I do appreciate that.
Well, you know, I think one thing that's changed a lot of how we see our cultures is the phenomenon of the internet. The internet has opened up, and, you know, there's sort of an ambiguity about who you're chatting with or who you're talking to. And I think people take an opportunity to say things that they wouldn't normally say to your face. And that can be a blessing, and it can also be a terror.
Mm-hmm. Agreed.
I agree.
Yes, that is true. That is
internet
true. Yes. Last week was anti-bullying week. And one of the things that is really important to me as well, because I do have a now 9-year-old little brother, is, you know, talking to him about, you know, bullying and things of that nature. And one of the worst things is cyberbullying. But from what I understand, kids, they still stay on there. It's like they still keep those pages or whatever you want to call them on Facebook and things like that. They still, even when they're receiving negativity from their peers, they still stay on there, and that's one thing that I do not understand.
Well,
they relive the moment over and over
for another book.
Yeah,
maybe, I don't know. You know, there right now there are 10 stories, just one book, and like I said, the next one is coming out next year around March. And I also want to say one thing too. Yes, you know, my characters are black. The reason they're black is because obviously we are black. But I want to say, you know, that if someone sees our book, you know, on Amazon or, you know, in a Barnes & Noble, and if they bypass, you know, my book because the characters on the cover are black, they are doing a disservice to their child. Because,
I agree.
Absolutely.
Every single book, you know, is just a regular kid's book story. And I don't want people, I don't want people to say, oh, you know, there's a black book. It's not. It's a diverse book. Diversity is important. We need diverse books.
It is diverse, and you're right. It's not a black book. You don't speak with eubonics. It's not super hip or anything. It's just a kid.
We speak proper English.
Speak
very
proper
important.
English.
I'm an English major. I majored in English. Speech is very important to me.
It is important. That's why we have to go to a commercial break right now, but we will be back in just a moment. Stay tuned and stay close.
Heck no, we're just getting warmed up. Frankie Sense and More will be right back after we pay the bills.
Homeschooling? Have questions? Get your pen and paper ready. It's the sociable homeschooler, Vivian McNinney. Fridays at 5, 4 Central on TogiNet.com. After a handsome blue-eyed Texan fell in love with Vivian at the Victoria Station in London, she found herself at DFW Airport with a tiny suitcase and a snazzy little duffel bag. Well, 25 years later, she is now happily married to that blue-eyed cowboy. They have 4 grown children ages 24 to 18 who became willing guinea pigs when she unwittingly stumbled upon the world of homeschooling. Wildflower Academy flourished for 15 years. They survived and thrived, and you can too. Vivian will be covering a wide range of issues that face homeschoolers. What do you do with kids in the summer? How to set up your one-room schoolhouse? How obedience is paramount? And what to do with those snakes? Plus, you'll be sharing ideas and insights that she gleaned from other homeschoolers. So join us for an engaging hour with the sociable homeschooler, Vivian McNinney. Friday afternoons at 5, 4 Central on TogiNet.com.
Hey, my horoscope in the Coffee News says I'm going to make a big change in my life.
Wow, I love the ads in the Coffee News and trying to find Cuppy to win prizes.
Yeah, and the fun facts and trivia are killer, too.
Hey, maybe we should advertise our business in there. I hear it's very inexpensive and everybody I know reads it.
Awesome idea! Let's call 903-283-0203 or go to coffeenewstyler.com and get her done.
What's that number again?
It's 903-283-0203. coffeenewstyler.com.
And welcome back. We're back with all of our friends here. Natorya Nichol, Will, Than and Megan, and of course Arlie and Frankie are here. Wow. Well, we had a little discussion off camera, I was going to say, off air. Arlie was asking Than and Megan from Hope Project International. Go ahead, Arlie. Ask it on air.
Yeah, Than, I just wanted to have you expand a little bit on some of your educational outreach and projects that work with the kids and teaching them life skills.
Absolutely, the church we partner with out in the community we're in has all sorts of programs for the kids to come to. They have English classes, they have a bakery program, there's a sewing co-op for women to learn how to sew and then use that skill to provide for their families. We actually started a baseball program, Baseball in the Barrio, where we've actually taken pro players down there to do skills training and to speak into the kids' lives. And the biggest thing, the next project we want to do there is to build a kind of a second story on the building and have a computer lab to get the kids' hands on computers so they can learn those skills and kind of increase their earning capacity as they grow older.
Wow, that's amazing.
Now,
it's
I just wanted to know, just 1 second, Arlie, because I'm kind of interested in knowing if, like, Africa, there's a lot of stuff, a lot of money exchanging hands in order to do things. Is it like that in Nicaragua? Do you have to pay people, I'm going to bring this computer in. Oh, here's $10. I'm going to bring this in. Here's $20. Do you have a lot of that?
With bribery through customs and things like that, they are curious when we bring things into the country. They want to look at it and they want to see it. But we've never had to bribe anyone, or we've never had to lost materials coming into the country, which we're really fortunate and grateful for. So it is easy for us to bring things in to help the kids.
So if people wanted to donate computers or help out, how would you ship them? Would you bring like a container, or how would you ship it in? What's the easiest way?
Probably start with contacting the airlines and seeing if we could get some luggage weight donation. I know they do things like that, and take them over that way. It is very expensive to ship things to Nicaragua, and it takes a long time. And so, we would start with.
Yeah, and you can actually purchase a lot of things in Nicaragua. That it'd be more cost effective sometimes to get it there than to try to bring it. And so,
right. And it helps the economy too.
Yeah, we have the resources, and we can pour it into that community without paying, double, triple what we would, pay for it in the States. And it's always an option to get it there if it's cost effective.
I'm gonna make sure that we don't run out of time for this. So I'm gonna ask everybody. We'll start with you guys, Than and Megan. Again, how can we donate to your cause? How can we? Where do we go?
Right. If you go to hopeprojectintl.com and check out what we're doing, you can give. You can set up monthly giving. You can give towards certain projects. You can buy a shirt that feeds kids. There's all sorts of different ways to give financially online, or even just find out our address and send a check. And then also go with us. Sign up for a trip to go to Nicaragua and build homes with us.
And all that information for our trips is on our website.
And I'm just going to give a shout out to Great Positive, because that's where I found you with Carol on Great Positive. Will, are you still with us? Did he go? Okay. He left. Okay. Well, you can go and find the band. It's called Illiteracy. So it's ILL-literacy.com, and you can go to their band page and check out their music and find them. And Natorya Nichol, how do people find you?
You can get on Twitter at @NW, and when you get on there, everything is on there. The Facebook, which is really cool because my little brother and I, we just did a new video and telling the kids to have good behavior over the holiday season. So I'd love for you guys to check that out on the Facebook page. Just search EJ and Sis. The website is a kind of long website, so if you want to get on the website, just hit up @NW on Twitter. Oh,
awesome.
And also, we also have a Kickstarter, really trying to raise money for marketing, really trying to go after millennials, not just millennials, everyone, but definitely millennials, because, that is a huge market. And so if anyone wants to, get on Kickstarter and look up EJ and Sis, we love the support.
Awesome. Good stuff. And, random thoughts here. We're talking about family and Thanksgiving's coming for those of who live in the U.S. And I had this thought this morning, Arlie. What do vegetarians look forward to on Thanksgiving?
Broccoli.
Probably sweet. No, they're looking forward to the sweets, probably.
No, that's funny because I don't eat sweet food. I've never had a sweet tooth ever in my life.
Really? You're so
well,
lucky.
we don't eat meat. So.
Oh, you don't? You're vegetarian?
Well, not really. Okay, I shouldn't say we don't eat meat. The only meat that I eat is turkey. I let Jay eat turkey and chicken, but we don't eat beef or pork or anything else.
Okay.
Wow.
And Than and Megan, what kind of food are they eating in Nicaragua? What would be the national food?
Well, there's
It's a national dish called gallo pinto, and they're very proud of it. And it's basically rice and beans mixed together.
Yes.
Okay. So the mission or wherever you go, they don't do the turkey thing down there?
No.
Okay, that wouldn't make sense.
Well, I don't have that problem here. I have to do a turkey every year because my Mexican family is close enough to the border that they want to have American holidays.
Oh. Well, I saw some of the American influence. I'm in Canada, and I saw some of the American influence just yesterday because I saw an ad for deep fried turkey. I'm like, oh yeah, that's American, man. Like only Americans would make something more fattening.
Oh yeah. My aunt, I remember. There reminds me of my aunt. She passed away of cancer in 2013, and I remember her doing the fried turkey. The first time she ever did it, she almost burned the house down.
Oh my gosh! I can't even imagine.
I've heard that story a lot.
Deep fried turkey.
Created
gives
fire.
me the willies. Gives me the willies. And Than, do you guys have Megan? Do you have you belong to a church in Florida? I'm assuming because you're pastors. Do you have your own church?
Well, no, we were pastors for 10 years. Now Hope Project is what we do, and so we connected to a church. We have a home church, and then we partner with several churches all over America to kind of try to get the work done there.
All right. I love your video. You look like you absolutely belong together. How did you meet?
We actually met in college, Southeastern University in Lakeland, Florida, and they just had very similar passions, very similar, dreams in life, and he's very, very beautiful.
That's true.
And so class together, so I asked her to study, and the rest is kind of history.
Now,
it's really nice to see younger generations taking on the volunteer and philanthropic identity, because it's so easy these days to chase after fame and fortune and such, and it's just really refreshing to see that.
Yeah, thank you.
It really is. It's beautiful spirit.
Yeah, I agree. Volunteering is very important. As a matter of fact, my little brother and I, the first week of December, we are going to be doing a lot of stuff with Salvation Army. Ever since we moved back home, it's very important to me that we do stuff with Salvation Army, so we're getting ready to do some stuff with them the first week of December.
I like that. All of my kids volunteer and do things, and I think it's in schools in Canada, and I think they have it in the U.S., you have to do 40 hours of community service in order to graduate. And it's very little, 40 hours, really, and it gives them a little, touch of it. But as parents, our children, they see what we do, and if you are someone who does volunteer in the community, most likely your children are going to do the same thing, and so it is important to set that example.
Right, and doing it as a family as well. I think that's really quite important. We often, as you know, I have my nephew. Gray's nephew is with us now, and that's one of the things we do, is that we go out and do that as a family.
That's what I want to do this Christmas. All my kids said my kids are grown up, but they all said we don't want gifts this year. And so I said, well, it'd be great to go out and give gifts to other people then. That would be fun.
Yes.
Let's go do that.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it comes a point you don't need any more stuff.
Well, and also another part of good gift giving is looking for organizations like the Hope Project and good books and such that you can donate to other children who may not have parents to buy those books for them, or for the Hope Project, who is helping children who don't have families. I mean, there's so many good things we can do in lieu of giving gifts to each other.
Yeah, I'm wondering if Hope Project, if is there a scholarship fund, or are there any kids ready to go to university that maybe could be helped?
We actually, for the first time, we are sending kids to school, elementary, middle school, and we're doing that. And then also there's one student that we are trying to put through college. He's in a 5-year program, wants to do graphic design, and his education is $780 a year for university. And so, Yeah.
We've been able to raise the money for him to go to college for 2 years and 1 month so far. And so,
that's great.
Yep. And then also we're sending 45 elementary school-age children to school starting in February. And so I'm excited about that as well.
Fantastic.
That's just, to go to school there is free, at the elementary level. But
good.
You got to have a uniform and shoes.
Right.
And
yeah,
so
that's what costs money.
For $45, we can send a kid to school for the year and literally change their life.
$45. Wow. That's incredible. Well, let's keep that in mind. If you're listening to the show, reach out to Hope Project and International, and let's see if we can't send a few kids to school. I love that. I like it when it's simple like that. $45, send a kid to school. Boom, done.
Yeah, and I think Natorya's book would be great Christmas presents for kids as well.
Yeah, it's a really good book.
And something you might consider doing, hon, is having them translated into Spanish.
Yes, Yes, someone else mentioned that, and I'm on that. I'm on it.
Because we have a hard time finding Spanish American idea books for students here. And what I mean to say by that is, our cultures are different, and sometimes they don't understand what we mean. And for me, I teach a lot of kids English, so that would be a great tool.
Okay.
Nice.
I'm on it.
Oh, look at that. You see? Family. We started off with family. And it's really families, just helping people and being kind to people. And, everybody can be your family. The friends that you choose for yourself are your family. And
right.
I love
and
it.
as you said earlier, our families come in so many different forms now.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yep, they do. And, when Than and Megan go back to Nicaragua, it's family. They're family to those kids, and they look forward to seeing them. And, Natorya, you and Jay are family, and it might not look traditional, but it is what it is,
It is, that's right. It is what it is. You are definitely right.
It is what it is. Arlie, you're my family. I love you.
Thank you. You as well. And what's amazing is we're actually a whole country apart.
I know. And Togiak's my favorite family. And we are out of time for this Frankie Sense and More, but please come back next week and join us because I have another fantastic show. And thank you to each of my guests and to Arlie for joining me today and being a part of this show. I really appreciate it. Take care, everybody. And we will see you next week. Have a wonderful holiday. We'll see you later. Thanks for tuning in, and please download the show. Bye now.
Siege on the beat. Hit Rash Production.
Shit, now you be the one way to turn